There is an invisible wall around the solar system. It has no surface you can strike and no edge you can cross with ceremony. No instrument will suddenly alert you that you have reached it. Space looks the same on either side, black, sparse, indifferent. Yet once you approach this boundary, the assumptions that make spaceflight imaginable begin to fail. This wall is not enforced by force. It is enforced by distance, time, and irreversibility. It is called the Oort cloud. The Oort cloud is not a place in the way planets are places. It is not a region you enter so much as a condition you slowly fall into. It has no center, no meaningful plane, no geometry that invites settlement. It is a vast spherical halo of icy debris surrounding the sun in every direction, a graveyard of fragments left over from the solar system's formation. These objects are ancient, older than Earth's oceans, older than the Moon's surface. They were scattered outward when the giant planets migrated and destabilized their surroundings, flinging material into distant, fragile orbits that have barely changed for billions of years. The Oort cloud begins far beyond the Kuiper Belt, far beyond Pluto, far beyond the limits of anything humans have ever visited. Even its inner edge may lie thousands of astronomical units from the Sun. Its outer edge fades gradually into interstellar space, where the Sun's gravity gives way to the collective pull of the galaxy. At this scale, the solar system stops feeling like a system. It becomes a fading influence. The Sun still matters here, but weakly. Objects in the Oort cloud are only loosely bound. A passing star, a molecular cloud, or the slow tide of the Milky Way itself can alter their orbits. Some are nudged inward, becoming long-period comets that briefly visit the inner planets before vanishing again. Others are stripped away entirely, becoming interstellar wanderers with no home at all. This is where ownership dissolves. This is where belonging becomes temporary. From the perspective of colonization, the Oort cloud is not a destination. It is a confrontation. Everything about human expansion so far has depended on proximity. Even Mars, distant by everyday standards, remains within a communications and logistics envelope we can still imagine managing. Months of travel, minutes of delay, a shared clock. The Oort cloud breaks that model completely. Travel time alone reframes the problem. With current propulsion, reaching the inner Oort cloud would take centuries. Not decades, not lifetimes, civilizational spans. The people who conceive the mission would never see its halfway point. The institutions that funded it would almost certainly cease to exist before arrival. And arrival would not feel like success. There will be no clear threshold, no dramatic change in scenery. The density of objects increases so gradually that only long-term statistical analysis would confirm you were inside the cloud at all. A spacecraft could spend generations within the Oort cloud and never come near a single object large enough to visit. This undermines the very idea of settlement. Colonization assumes nodes, places where people gather, build, trade, and grow. The Oort cloud offers none of these naturally. Its objects are separated by distances so vast that rendezvous becomes impractical. There is no natural clustering, no gravitational wells to anchor infrastructure. Every outpost would be alone. Energy becomes the first absolute constraint. Solar power, the backbone of most space concepts, becomes irrelevant here. At Oort cloud distances, the sun is a bright star, but only just. Its light is insufficient to sustain life, industry, or even reliable instrumentation without massive collectors that themselves require energy to build and maintain. Nuclear fission offers finite lifetimes. Fusion, if achieved, must operate flawlessly for centuries. Every system must assume zero resupply. Failure here is not dramatic. It is terminal. This forces a shift in how we think about technology. Machines cannot merely be robust, they must be self-maintaining. Habitats cannot merely be sealed, they must be regenerative. Decision-making cannot rely on oversight, it must be autonomous. Human presence in the Oort cloud would require systems that do not yet exist, not because they are impossible, but because we have never needed endurance at this scale before. Navigation becomes uncertain as well. Within the inner solar system, reference points are plentiful. Planets provide predictable markers. Orbits are well defined. In the Oort cloud, motion is slow and subtle. Orbits take millions of years. Gravitational influences overlap. The sky changes so gradually that course correction becomes an abstract concept. You're no longer traveling through space. You are drifting with it. Communication compounds the isolation. Signals sent from the Oort cloud take years to reach Earth. Replies take years to return. By the time a question is answered, the context that produced it may no longer exist. Real-time coordination becomes impossible. Governance from afar becomes meaningless. Any human community here would not be governed by Earth. It would be governed by delay. This creates a cultural fracture deeper than distance alone. Human societies depend on feedback, shared events, shared crises, shared narratives unfolding together. Stretch those feedback loops into decades, and cohesion erodes naturally. Beyond the Oort cloud, Earth becomes a historical reference rather than a living influence. Language would drift, ethics would drift, priorities would drift, not through rebellion, but through isolation. Even memory changes under these conditions. Stories passed down across generations lose precision. Motivations blur. The original purpose of a mission becomes mythologized, simplified, or forgotten entirely. Why are we here? Why do we continue? What does home mean now? The Oort cloud forces these questions because it offers no reinforcement. There is no nearby star to aim for immediately. No visible destination promising resolution. Just transit, long, silent, and uneventful. Economics fails here as well. Trade depends on exchange. Exchange depends on time frames that matter. In the Oort cloud, nothing moves fast enough for markets to function. Resources cannot be shipped efficiently. Value cannot circulate. Every settlement must be nearly self-sufficient or not exist at all. This is not expansion. It is replication under constraint. Scientifically, the Oort cloud is priceless. Its objects are pristine relics from the solar system's infancy, preserving materials unchanged since before the planets formed. Studying them would answer foundational questions about how common water, organics, and complex chemistry are in planetary systems. But science alone cannot justify colonization. The cost is too high. The risk is too final. The reward is too abstract, which is why the Oort cloud rarely appears in optimistic visions of humanity's future. It does not offer spectacle. It does not promise prosperity. It does not yield easily to ambition. It resists narrative, and yet it is honest. The Oort cloud shows us what space really is once the illusions of closeness fade. It strips away romance and leaves endurance. It replaces conquest with continuity. It asks not whether we can travel far, but whether we can remain coherent while doing so. To cross the Oort cloud is to accept that the solar system is not something we expand outward. It is something we eventually leave behind. This is not a failure. It is a consequence of scale. The Oort cloud does not guard the solar system. It does not threaten us. It does not exist for our consideration. It is simply where gravity thins, time stretches, and belonging weakens. And whether humanity ever passes through it will not depend on faster engines alone. Speed helps, but it does not solve the deeper problem. The real challenge is continuity, sustaining purpose across centuries, maintaining identity across isolation, and committing to journeys whose completion lies beyond individual lives. The Oort cloud is not a wall you can see. It is a wall made of patience, autonomy, and the willingness to accept that some frontiers do not reward those who seek them, only those who endure them. If humanity ever crosses it, it will not be because we finally learned how to go faster. It will be because we learned how to remain ourselves while moving so slowly that progress feels indistinguishable from stillness. That is what the Oort cloud demands. Not propulsion, not courage alone, but the ability to persist without reassurance, drifting through darkness with no guarantee that arrival will ever mean anything at all.